Hello and welcome to Lumin Weekly. So, a few of you may have realized that my channel is actually 1 year old today, and I don't know, I didn't really want to celebrate that in any way because I didn't start making videos a year ago. I'm not really even very sure when I started making videos, but the channel was made like a while before, and look at me just jumping straight into this stuff here. It was made a while before and I didn't really use it till a few months after that, or a little while after that at least. So to me it's not really a big deal that it's 1 year old. Maybe 1 year from my pulse, when my pulse started, that'll be a big date for me, or when I get to like 100 episodes or something like that. But I don't know, it's not that big a deal. But for those of you that said happy birthday, thank you, that's really cool. Otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed the giveaway thing. As I told you, I'm gonna do more of those sometime soon. We're gonna see what we can do about that, and we're gonna see about all the other stuff. I know you guys want to like buy them and stuff, and that's not gonna be me, that's gonna be my girlfriend. Helene will be covering all of that, but it's a good idea and we're gonna see what we can do about it. So that's cool. So last week's question topic, we'll get straight to that now, was South Africa, and there were obviously a few questions that weren't related to that, so I'll just cover those first, then we'll jump into the South African ones. And I've got something different planned for next week. I'm not sure if it's going to work, but I think it's probably worth a try. I'll just ask myself a question first and I'll answer it. When are you getting a haircut, Sven? And I think that's going to happen next week. So there, I answered my own question, and I was too lazy to shave it Sunday, so live with it. Okay. From Jamupza, I think that's right. What's your favorite StarCraft unit quote? Anything from the medics, both the Medivac and the medics from StarCraft 2. They've got some really amazing quotes. Like, most of them are really funny. So if you want to check that out, I think there's a channel right here on YouTube. It's called StarCraft 2 Units, one word. And they've got all the units there, full HD, their portraits, and all the quotes from those units. It's really cool. I use that all the time for when I'm making videos and stuff. So there, medics. The Gryos. How about playing demos of games? They're a bit short and you can't get the full picture, but I'd definitely watch that. I'm definitely into playing demos. I played the Crisis demo, for instance, but it's gonna have to be a proper demo. And the funny thing is that people don't really release demos of really good games anymore. I'm not sure why that happened. I suppose it's not worth it anymore. Sort of making a whole separate game just for the demo, but people don't release demos often anymore. I just don't know why it happens. So I don't really... If I find a good demo to play, sure, I'll do it. Is that your girlfriend behind you? Yes, it is. And that was from Lonely Soul, Lonely One Soul 2. And then Coxora629 asked, what's she playing in the background? In the previous video she was playing Hon, and in this video she's playing World of Warcraft. She's playing WoW. It's Children's Week at the moment, if you didn't know. It started today, right now. And she's busy doing those achievements and quests and getting those pets. So good luck to her, and good luck to you guys if you're doing it as well, I suppose. Then Mr. Carlsink was just having a bit of a jab at me because I scratched my head when I said I don't download stuff. So I thought I'd just mention that here. I think everyone on the internet has pirated a game before, everyone who's ever used the internet. I just feel that, you know, good games aren't worth pirating. I would definitely never in my life even think of pirating Diablo or StarCraft or any of those things, because I feel that, you know, games like that, you'd actually need that multiplayer element, you'd need those constant updates from Blizzard. I mean, look at things like, we all know what WoW, these fake WoW servers look like. They're terrible. They're running like old patches, people are all just exploiting and hacking on there with corrupted GMs and stuff. I just feel that basically, I suppose, long answer short, really good games deserve to be bought. I don't know why I even said that now. And then Mr. Fader Mater, whatever, however you want to say it, he says that I live in Holland. I'm not quite sure why he said that, but hey, Holland's a nice place, I gotta say. I haven't been there, but it looks pretty cool. And then, I think these are the start of the South African questions. Polafluke or Fluke asks, when are you guys moving to a real city? So for those of you who are wondering, we don't live in a city, we live in a little town. It's called Hermanus, and it's in the Western Cape. So, well, we lived in Cape Town for a little while, and it's nice. I mean, there's nothing really wrong with it, but I think we're pretty happy here. As long as the internet gets upgraded, like, eventually to 10 meg, because that's at the moment the highest in South Africa. We've got 4 meg right now, and then you can get up to 10 meg. For me, that would be amazing, because right now my upload speed, the max is 52 kilobytes a second, and that's really slow. It takes ages for me to upload anything. If I get to 10 meg, then I'll have 1 meg upload and 10 meg download, which is cool. And that would be a big upgrade. So that's the only reason I'd want to live in a city. Otherwise, I think it's nicer here. It's not as busy, it's definitely safer. Everything we need is here, and we're closer to our family, so that's cool. Well, I'm closer to my family at least, so that's cool. And there's Nero. What's the most bizarre thing wildlife related you've encountered anywhere in South Africa? It's funny that you asked that, because I encountered something pretty bizarre like 2 days ago when I was walking Nero. I'm gonna put that here. I'm gonna put a photo of it here now. Okay, so you're not gonna see me, you're gonna see this cool photo now. And this was a dussie. It's called a dussie. I'm not sure what they're called in any other language, but that's what we call it here in South Africa. Sitting on a branch, and Nero was watching it. We were walking on the cliff paths, and Nero saw this, and he was fascinated by it. I was too, because that branch was pretty thin, and it was like up on a cliff, like high up, and if that dussie fell down there, then it would have been over. Okay, so anyway, that was really, I enjoyed that. Okay, I liked seeing that. Then the next question, also wildlife. What's the coolest animal you've seen in South Africa? I suppose that's different than saying your favorite animal, because I don't really have a favorite animal. My favorite animal at the moment is Nero. I don't have a favorite type of animal. Okay, I don't know. I don't think about things like that. Coolest animals. I was telling Helene now that I think I've been to like zoos and stuff like that. We haven't been to like the Kruger National Park. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but that's like a big wildlife park where you can drive around and look at animals and stuff. Lions, elephants, all that kind of stuff. But if I had been there, then that would be cool. Obviously, I'll probably have a lot more to talk about. But I saw some really cool snakes, okay? And they're cool, but at the same time really scary. I hate snakes, okay? I'm not scared like to death of snakes, but it's quite a sickening thought. I don't know. I just don't like it, okay? But we saw like those whole snake pit things at the zoos. That's really cool, okay? Having all those snakes lying there and then they're like slithering. Anyway, snakes. Snakes. Okay. The question is, this is from Robo. I'm not saying who that was. That previous one, the bizarre wildlife thing, was from Dal DX. And the next one about the coolest animal was from Steam Zones 23. Sorry, I'm missing the name. So from Robocop the Jedi, that's a name I'll never miss. Question is, he lives in South Africa, and well, don't you hate it how so many anchors land on the Seacom cables every year? So it's terrible, it's pathetic, but it happens. So firstly, for those that didn't know, there's the Seacom cable runs under the ocean to wherever. It doesn't really matter. You'll like, for instance, if it goes all the way up the west coast or east coast of South Africa, there's the cable under the sea, quite deep down, and that's the South African internet right there, that one cable. And the ships, these big tankers, whatever, they throw down their anchors, and then they go pew, down, land on our cable, breaks the cable in half, or damages at least, and then South Africa loses half their internet. They've recently added more cables. I don't know much about this, okay, I'm just guessing now. They've added a new cable recently, and things are apparently better, who knows, and it's not all reliant on the one cable anymore. But it happens often that here in South Africa our internet either gets incredibly slow for that reason, that someone dropped their anchor on our cable, or you know, it just gets cut out completely for certain service providers. But it's not great. I hate that's terrible. Okay, how much is your currency worth in comparison to the dollar? This is from the Gryos. $1 is equal to R6.50 at the moment. I think I just checked that this morning. R6.50 for a dollar. You know, at the moment that's actually pretty okay. It's decent. Where I think the euro is probably 9 or 10 rand. I'm also guessing now, and the pound is a little bit more. The dollar is actually not doing too bad for us at the moment. Have you ever been out of South Africa, and what was your favorite holiday? That's from ProZerg SC. I have been out of South Africa twice. Probably more than twice, but I've been overseas twice. We've been to Ireland once. Well, before that, actually, when I was like 20 or something, I went on a Kontiki tour around Europe. So I went to the tour was cut short because I like got robbed. But anyway, I went to the UK and I went to France. I was supposed to go to Amsterdam after that, but I didn't get to go there because my money was stolen. But that was fun. That was a lot of fun. But I think more fun was probably we went to Ireland with my girlfriend, Ireland, yes, to visit her mother over there. I'm spitting. Sorry, keyboard. We went to visit her mother over there, and that was a lot of fun. I mean, it's cool because we hadn't been there yet, and it was nice and cold. I love the cold. We got to look at the shops and stuff there. We went to see some like famous landmarks. I'm trying to think what it was called. Giant's Causeway. We went to go look at that. Very cool. I enjoyed that. It was fun. It was a lot of fun, and that was probably my favorite holiday. We went for about 2 or 3 weeks. I can't remember. How many official languages are there in South Africa? Also from Prozig SC. He says he already knows this, but he's just asking it for you guys. I think there are 11 official languages at the moment. I can't name them all, not a chance. The only 2 I speak are English and Afrikaans. 11, that's a lot of languages, and they're all official. As you just heard, that means there are a ton of people speaking a ton of different languages. That's pretty crazy. What is the dominant religion in South Africa? This is from Bottled Water is Good. As far as I know, Christianity is the dominant religion. I might be wrong. Something like Hinduism or something might be more practiced by more people, but as far as I know, Christianity is the dominant religion. And he also asks, are you religious? Not really, no. No, I'm not at all, actually. I don't have a problem with religion at all, and it doesn't bother me at all. I just don't like it when people force it upon you. And it's not because I don't want to believe in anything like that, it's just that I was raised differently. Okay. Then from MMO Tomaz, this is an interesting one. After I called you a soti in one of my past comments, I decided to look up what it meant, and I found out it was a derogatory term used to describe white South Africans. I'll tell you about this in just a second. Then I realized it's similar to calling a black person a nigger here in America. Okay. So, in America, the N-word is considered to be very offensive, and white people are afraid to say it, especially around black people. So I was wondering if soti, or the S-word, has a similar effect in South Africa. No. So soti is actually used by Afrikaans white people. They say it to English white people. It's not actually used by the black people. Like so I don't really see that as racism. I just think it's them being silly, okay? And personally, if someone called me a soti, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care at all. That's now actually regardless of the fact that I can actually speak Afrikaans properly, fluently, but it wouldn't bother me at all. And it's not in South Africa, at least. There's the K word, which I'm not going to say because it's very mean. It's actually not nice. They call black people that. Someone else can tell you that in the comments. I won't be the bearer of bad news here, but you know, it's not nearly as harsh. People say that it doesn't matter. It's not like a swear word. It's not like a really offensive word. So no, I don't take any offense from the fact that you said that to me at all. Also, MMO Tomaz, thanks for the shout out of coolness, very much appreciated. And if you're interested, Steam Zones 23 and MMO Tomaz were having a little discussion about how cool God of War is. Yes, it's really cool. They were having that discussion in the previous Lumin Weekly's comment section. So, KKPLX. Since I know a family that lives in Ghana, I just wanted to ask where exactly you live. Region, not Google Maps and coordinates. Since I can't find or hear anything about that on your profile. We live in the Western Cape, I just said, in Hermanus. South Africa, southern tip of Africa. You can see it on any world map, I suppose. But on the southern tip of Africa, and we live pretty much on the southern tip of South Africa. All the way at the bottom, right on the sea. I can't really say much more about that. Very nice place. We probably, right here, our house is like 200 meters or 300 meters away from the sea. So it's really cool. And that's where we live. Badly answered, I know, but there it is. And then he asks, what do you think about being number 4? This is not actually South African related. Number 4 most viewed reporter in South Africa at a time. As far as I know, I'm like by far the most viewed reporter in South Africa on YouTube. The thing is, most of the people that were actually above me there are like sub bots. I don't know if you know what those are, but the bots that just take like subscribers from other, or like that sub for sub and all that crap. There's a lot of people that also, like Americans or whatever, that just put their country on South Africa so they can be more, so they can have that little #1 there. But actually at the moment I've been most viewed since I released that 4-gate video. I've been most viewed like every day consistently. But no, it didn't, I don't know what I feel about that. Nothing much really. It doesn't really mean very much. I'd be happy to be most subscribed one day, and I'll work towards that, but otherwise, yeah. And then from Doug Rock, I actually had a long discussion with him on the Team Liquid forums. He sent me a message there, and he says, this is just part of it. He says, when I was younger, my piano teacher was South African, but I noticed your accent is quite a bit different. I'm not completely aware of the cultural background of South Africa, but if I'm not mistaken, I know there were primarily Dutch descendants and English descendants, as well as Aboriginal Afrikaans. Like, he says for cultural sake, he's French Canadian himself, having learned French as a first language and English as a second at the age of 5 or 6. So in other words, Canada has a similar dichotomy, and that's true, yes. There are lots of countries that are actually similar. And about the accents in South Africa, it's funny because we've actually got a really wide range of accents. Say, for instance, the Western Cape, Cape Townians, they sound, I suppose they sound like me. I don't know. That's the English versions of them. Then you get Afrikaans people in sort of the Western Cape, Cape Town areas, and they have a different accent when they speak English. Okay, usually not as refined, but anyway. Then you've got the Durbanites, people from Durban and the people from Johannesburg. They've both got totally different accents. They, like for instance, Johannesburg, they sound totally different to the Western Cape people. That's Gauteng is the province. They sound totally different to the Western Cape people. And then the guys in Durban sound totally different again. And then the guys in like the Transvaal sound even different. There's a lot of different sounding South African accents here. They all sound sort of similar, but there are differences. Not big, but they're there. And then you've got the whole English Afrikaans thing. If Afrikaans first language person speaks English, which is normally their second language, then they won't sound the same either. And that's just how it is. There's a lot of different accents. I don't have any problems with any of them. I think it's all just all good. Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong, but it appears that the Western Cape is the only decent province in South Africa. Yes it is. No, okay, well I can't say that, but anyway. Your HIV rates, you've got HIV rates upwards of 39% in the East and vast numbers of murdered Afrikaners in the Transvaal and the Free State. I went to Windhoek last week, and even there people were talking about how radical Zuma has become. Okay, so that's from Political Upheaval, and like, the Western Cape is actually, some of the areas in the Western Cape have very high HIV rates, and that's pretty erratic all the way across South Africa. You can't really say this area is worse than that area. The crime is worse in like Gauteng, like the Johannesburg, Pretoria regions. Yes, the crime is worse, but it's also different. There's different things that happen in different places. I can't say that one area is a lot better than the other area. And yes, there were murdered Afrikaners in the Transvaal, but again, that's just like little groups of like radicals, and you'll always have that in any country. You can't really just say it's just that area. And the only reason they target people like the farmers, the Afrikaners, people who live on the farms in Transvaal, is because they are easier targets. I mean, they've got this huge farm with one house in the middle of nowhere. You know, if they go out there and they murder someone, then it's going to be that much more difficult for the cops to find them or for someone to stop them. So, you know, that's how it works. And you've got that kind of crime and stuff all the way everywhere around the world. It's not just South Africa. About Zuma, like, I don't follow political stuff very well, very much, but I think that's, again, just like, I think he's just sort of, actually, I don't even know what to say about that. I don't know. I don't like the whole thing of him trying to take down the white people in South Africa. I think it's just silly. The white people are overreacting, but at the same time, I mean, if you look at it from his point of view, he's just trying to make something for his people and trying to sort of guarantee a good life for them and blah blah blah. But at the same time, the white people or the other people who are against him will sort of have the whole opposite view. And I don't know. I can't explain it. I'm very bad at things like that. But yeah, things aren't doing too well. That's all I can say at the moment. And hopefully it's not going to get much worse. And this next question actually ties into that from Ventus Gaming. This is from Cyrus actually. Did you register to vote for the municipal elections? No. I'm going to be honest, I didn't. But if so, who are you going to vote for? The reason we didn't vote actually is because we weren't here. It was only like for the weekend that it was on. Blah, I don't know. I just sort of forgot about it. I would have voted for like the DA or something. It doesn't really matter. My mother actually told me what's quite a good thing to say is like, it doesn't matter who's in control. I mean, basically, it doesn't matter who you vote for as long as one person doesn't have all the power. So, for instance, in Hermanus right here, the ANC, that's Zuma and his party, don't have all the power. So basically, it doesn't matter who else you vote for, as long as you don't give one person 100% of the power, and that sort of ties in with the previous comment from Political Upheaval. As long as you don't give one person all the power to do anything without being questioned, without being kept in check, then I think things are okay. So basically, you can't have one person with like 90% of the votes in South Africa or one party, because if one person or one group can just make all the decisions without anyone else saying anything about it, then you're probably going to have problems. So I would say that, yeah, if you're going to vote for someone, just basically vote for the minorities and make sure that everyone has a voice, I guess. No. Okay, that's it. That's the last question. And I wanted to say about next week, I'm going to do something different. What I'm going to do is, in the next Lumin Weekly, and yes, sorry about those last two questions. I'm really bad at stuff. I told you I can't answer the whole political, even the religious ones I'll struggle with, but it's difficult. I'm not good at that kind of thing. I don't know much about the South African history and the stuff. Yeah. Okay, so anyway, the next episode, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to be asking questions to you, and if you can hear that wow in the background, then good for you. I'm going to be asking you questions. So basically, it might fail horribly, but I'm going to try anyway. I'm going to pose questions to groups of you. So for instance, the ones that live, maybe I'll ask people who live in the US, in a certain state or area, whatever, 1 or 2 questions about some stuff. Maybe I'll ask the Europeans some questions. Maybe I'll ask all the girls that watch this, if there are any questions. Basically, I'll just target groups of you with questions, and then I want you to answer them in the comments, for those of you that watch it, okay? Don't have to go out of your way to answer it, just give a quick, short, easy answer. It doesn't really matter, unless you want to give a really long one, that's fine too. I think it's going to be interesting. It could potentially work, it could be terrible as well, but I'll do that. This is going to be a very long video, isn't it? So I'll ask questions to you. I'll figure that out. So there's not going to be any, you don't have to leave any questions in the comment section this week. You can just guess what the challenge is going to be, and then next week you'll basically you'll answer the questions that I ask you, and then the week after that I'll cover them all on the next Lumin Weekly. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be nice to try. I didn't want to answer the questions in this week's episode because I think the episode would get way too long, so I'll answer those. I'll ask those next week, and I will reply to all the comments in this video below. So that'll be good too. Anyway, I've sat here for way too long now, so let's head on over to the weekly challenge. Here we go, time to look at last week's challenge and present you, the brave and fearless detectives, with a fresh new clue. This past week's challenge was pretty interesting and a little different too. So what was the game? You guys guessed a lot of different, quite varied stuff. Kirby, The Witcher, Freedom Force, Runes of Magic, Warcraft, Borderlands, Guild Wars, League of Legends, Overlord 2, Bloodline Champions, God of War, Robocop, and the right answer was in fact Valkyria Chronicles. Yes, this is a PS3 game that I actually really wanted to get for myself and nearly did recently. I know, not a PC game this time. I guess I just wanted to mix it up a bit. So you can read a lot more about that game below if you're interested. The winner this week, because he or she did in fact guess it correctly, is StreamZones23. And I think I might have said his nickname wrong during the Lumin Weekly, but I did say it right now. I've contacted said lucky commenter about his or her prize, and, well, I'm about ready to give you your next challenge, so let's check it out. Oh, what a tease. Yes, that's all you're getting, and I fear it may well be too much. If you know the answer, leave a comment telling me what the game is. As I said, this will always be uploaded sometime on Sunday, so everyone will know when to expect it, and everyone will have a fair chance. This week the prize is once again a StarCraft 2 themed sticker pack. Anyway, all that said, remember next week I'm asking you the questions, so if you have any questions this week, you can feel free to leave them. I will answer them, but you don't really need to. Stay tuned for that, and I hope you all have a great weekend. Most importantly though, happy detectivizing.